Recording started.
Good afternoon and welcome to this Epic Ed web conference, One Size Does Not Fit All. In our session today, we're going to review the protocol for participating in the session. We'll then hear from representatives from the San Diego Unified School District. Following that, representatives from Surry County Schools District in North Carolina. And we'll conclude with final words by Keith Kruger from COSN, and then take a glimpse into some coming events and an evaluation of this session. As a reminder, we're using Blackboard Collaborate today, and in terms of participation in this session, you'll notice the diagram in the whiteboard here. If you are going to ask a question at a certain point in time, you'll have the opportunity, if you have a microphone, to click on the hand icon, the raised hand icon you see there, to indicate that you want to ask a question audibly. Otherwise, you can chat your question in the chat box. Here's a close-up look at what that looks like. So again, when we pause for questions this afternoon, you'll click the raised hand icon if you want to audibly ask a question, or simply type your question in the chat box. Our session this afternoon features two districts, one from San Diego Unified in San Diego, California, and then the other Surry County Schools located in Dobson, North Carolina. We've situated those two districts on the map. Now we'd like to hear from those of you participating in this afternoon's session. Where are you joining us from? So if you would please double-click on the pencil icon you see there, the tool palette for the whiteboard, and then choose a larger size for that pencil and a color, and draw a circle on the map to let us know where you're from. And we'll give you about 5 seconds to do that this afternoon. Okay, so great. Looks like we've got some contingency here from North Carolina, and then all around the nation, folks are starting to join us this afternoon. We're going to begin our series, One Size Does Not Fit All, with the San Diego Unified School District. The Chief Information and Technology Officer there is Daryl Lagace, and so at this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to Daryl and to other representatives from San Diego Unified. Join me in a virtual round of applause. You can do so. Again, the smiley face icon. Click on the applause button there. And let's welcome Daryl Lagace. Daryl?
Thank you. Pleasure to be presenting with you all today. And we have a couple of folks joining us, two teachers from two schools within our school district, and we're going to share with you a little bit about our initiative and the work that we're doing to really change our learning environments across the district, as well as some of the results we're seeing, and look forward to sharing the info. I just want to give you a little bit of background on San Diego Unified. We are the second largest district in California with about 130,000 students. It's a pretty diverse community, and we have over 60 languages spoken in the community. And we do have a very diverse population as well, with about 70% of our families eligible for the free and reduced lunch program. I wanted to talk a little bit about how our initiative came to be. In 2008, we actually, as a community, took a look at what we wanted to do to transform our learning environments and knew that technology was a cornerstone for being able to do that. But as a result, we've been waiting for funding and programs from the state and the feds, realizing quickly it wasn't going to come. We went out to our community and actually passed a bond that actually is really what is leading up to the change you're seeing in our classrooms today. And the essence of the bond was really to help us equip our classrooms, of course, upgrade the technologies, create an infrastructure where students could come to our campuses with not only one device, but connect with 2 or 3 that they might have in their backpack, as well as provide a training program for our teachers to really transform the learning environments, tapping into all these resources. These were some of the goals that we had focused on our initiatives, and you can see here really looking at quality teaching and learning environments using these technology tools, looking to really shift the delivery of our instruction. We wanted to get away from the teacher standing in front of the classroom lecturing and really moving towards a more personalized learning environment, a student-centered environment where kids were much more engaged. And as you'll see in our program, we wanted this to be equitable. We didn't want this to be a situation where teachers, volunteered and this was happening in pockets throughout the district, but we wanted everybody to have an equal opportunity to experience this learning environment. So we started out with actually a plan that rolled out grade level sequentially over a course of 5 years. And as you can see, in 2009, we actually started with grade 3, grade 6, and high school math. And in 2010, you'll see we moved to grade 4, grade 7, and high school language arts, and so on. So as you can see, if you were a 3rd grader in our district in 2009, you were never going to walk into a classroom that didn't have these 21st century tools at your fingertips. And so that's pretty exciting for us. Our initiative aligns with a number of plans, not only district plans, but looking at alignment with the U.S. Department of Ed and their technology goals. Our district then created its own 2020 vision that really looked at that 3rd grader and what they would graduate with as far as skills and experience in this new learning environment, as well as changing some of our own policies in the district. We used to have a technology plan that drove much of the work that you would have traditionally seen in this kind of deployment, and we really picked out the academic expectations and put those into the academic policies and procedures for the district in something called our goals for student achievement. And then, of course, these are supported by our site and LEA plans for the district as well. So there's a lot of thought that has gone into this to align this with some major elements in the district for sustainability at all levels, if you will. The typical classroom actually gets a host of tools at their fingertips. We did install interactive whiteboards. That was something that a lot of the teachers wanted, but for us as a district and a vision for the community, that wasn't anywhere near what we wanted a 21st century learning environment to look like. And so we ensured at the same time in this development that every student would have a device. And so you'll see that the classrooms are equipped with enough devices for every student. The teacher gets a new tablet, and we're using the audio systems, the audio amplification systems, so everyone can hear no matter whether you're in the front or back of the room. Alongside all the equipping that goes on in our classrooms is a really intensive professional development program that has been assembled by the district. We follow the model, a TPAC model out of Michigan State, and really layer on the training over a period of a couple of years. The first year a teacher joins the program, they get about 39 hours of opportunity to attend professional development. It's a mandatory attendance for a good portion of it, and it's scaffolded. So they come and they learn, for example, what the vision of all of this is about, and then they are equipped with a certain amount of the technology, and then they come back and they really talk about how they're going to change lessons using these tools. And most of the training is really focused on a pedagogical shift, not really about how to use the equipment. But by the end of the first year, we introduce the student engagement devices, and it gets pretty exciting. What we have found in this is it takes about 18 months for a teacher to really turn that corner and to walk into a room and see something very different. And we're so excited for the numbers of teachers that have made that shift already. This is just a quick glimpse of where we are. We're about 60% along in our project. We have almost 4,000 teachers that have been trained and as many Promethean boards installed in classrooms. And we have 78,000 netbooks roughly across the district right now. And last year, we made a shift from the netbook platform as a student device to iPads. And so we're in phase 2 of rolling out about 28,000 iPads. We started it last year with about 15,000 of them just at the end of the year. And as we start the school year this year, we'll deploy the balance of those. And it's pretty exciting to see what's happening in the classrooms with the new technology. Alongside the training, as important as the training is for the individual teachers, we also knew we needed to provide enough capacity at the local site. And so there was lots of training provided to the school leader in areas such as just making sure principals knew what to expect when they walked into these classrooms, and really what the look-fors were. We wanted to make sure that they had an idea of what the technology should be used and how it shouldn't be used. And so that was a big part of it for us. Sorry, a little interruption there. And then the other piece of it was to build the capacity of the school to continue the work that the district was doing beyond what we could provide. And so we really developed the Digital Lead Teacher program. And as a result of that, every school has a Digital Lead Teacher that is really helping maintain the progress going forward, but actually now doing some innovative work that makes the schools kind of differentiated between each other because of the work they're doing at the school level. These lead teachers come together several times a year and work together across the district to support new initiatives involving technology as well. With that, I want to pass it over to Pet Pease, who is a teacher at Wilson Middle School, and she's going to talk to you about some of the innovations that are happening in her school and actually her classroom.
Yes, hi. So I work at Wilson Middle School, and so I just wanted to kind of show you what my school is like as far as ethnic-wise, the demographics breakdown. So we have approximately 630 students at our site, and all of our students participate in a free or reduced lunch program, and we are the Program Improvement School Year 5, which means that for at least for 5 years now, we have not met our annual goals as far as our API scores. So we have a really diverse school population. The majority of students are Spanish speaking, but we have African Americans, Asians, whites, etc. About me, so my name is Pet Pease. I teach 6th grade math, science, and PE. Wilson is a 6th through 8th school, and I will be starting my 8th year of teaching. So I started this program at year 1 implementation. So what that means is this is equipment that I was furnished with in my site. So I received a teacher tablet PC, a Promethean board, a dock-cam media cabinet, and student netbooks. For the training, I received training throughout the summer and during school. So we would get release days to go and learn about the different equipment, how we can institute and apply it in our classrooms, the various software programs, etc. And they also provided after-school sessions as well, where if we couldn't come either during summer or during school, we could go on after our classes ended. And the really interesting thing about all the training that was provided for teachers is it was completely paid, which is just so novel to me, because coming from a background where if I was interested in learning about something, I would have to go and pay for my own classes to learn about, whatever programs, technology that I could implement in my own classroom. But they actually paid for us in our classroom to learn all this new nifty technology. So we would like you to take a poll right now. So the question we're having you answer is, are you currently supporting or working in a school that has deployed a one-to-one initiative? So A is yes, B, no, C, planning on it. So go ahead and vote on your screen.
Remind everyone, in terms of voting, in the participants block, you'll notice the row of icons. To the far right, the icon you see there allows you to choose A, B, or C. It's a drop-down icon currently with the letter A on the top there. So we'll give you about 5 more seconds for you to choose your answer to that first poll. San Diego, we need you to turn your mic on. We're not getting your audio.
All right, so those of you who have answered in the poll yes above, on a scale of 1 to 5, low to high ranks the impact on student achievement. So A, no impact, B, little impact, C, some impact, D, moderate impact, or E, significant impact. So we'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and answer the poll.
Significant.
Significant impact?
Yeah, it's at the bottom.
About 5%.
Okay. So it looks like for those of you who have voted on the poll, so some impact and significant impact is what you're seeing from the one-to-one deployment. So let me talk to you now about what I've noticed in my own classroom as far as the impact. So what has the I-21, the one-to-one deployment changed in my classroom? So first of all, it's affected how I deliver my instruction. Before having this technology, it was always a struggle for me as an educator. Since my periods are so short, I only have 52-minute periods, I always felt like it was very much teacher-centered. I was always up on, in the front of the classroom kind of giving instruction, and my students never got a lot of time at the end after I did my instruction, went over problems, to kind of practice and master what they've just learned. They would be given some homework problems to do at the end, and they would always struggle with those problems. But with this technology, it's really allowed me to use these innovative practices in my classroom, such as the flipped classroom. For those of you who don't know what the flipped classroom model is, it's basically an inversion of the traditional model of teaching. So instead of me being in the middle of my classroom, on the stage, so to speak, and my students being just kind of passive sponges, it's shifted the model so it's more student-centered. My instructional lessons are given through screencasts that the students take for homework, and then the majority of the class time they come in and they get support from their fellow peers or from me. And so it's really, really changed the way I deliver my instruction. And so class time just doesn't end at 52 minutes now, and we're able to go into more depth in the classroom. So it's affected also how my students learn. So my class environment has completely changed. It's more dynamic now. It's more engaging. So it's not just me in the front of the room. The kids are constantly working, with each other in groups. I'm able to differentiate instruction. So it helps with review and remediation. As I mentioned earlier, my instruction now is given through screencast. So students who view the videos at home, they're given assessment questions. They're given to kind of assess if they've learned it, and if they haven't, they can go back and watch the videos in class, or get instruction from a fellow peer or from me. For student support, the students who don't have maybe access to the technology, or parents at home who could help them out with the work, can now come to class and get homework help, right there on the spot. And again, seek out assistance from the peers or from the teacher. And it really, really helps with differentiation. Every single day in my classroom now, I can work one-on-one with students as they need it. It also allows me to pull students in for small group work. So it's really, really allowed me to kind of meet the students at their levels.
Well, Pat, thank you so much for sharing your experiences at Wilson Middle School. We're going to pass it over to Mike Salamanca, who's a teacher at Innovation Middle School.
Hi, everybody. So just a quick thing about me. I teach math and engineering, or gateway to technology, as we call it. I teach 7th and 8th grade, do essay training, and I coach after-school sports. About my school, like Daryl said, I'm at Innovation Middle School, or iMiddle. Approximately 400 students, more than 80% are on free and reduced lunch, and we are a neighborhood non-charter school. So moving on, we're going to do a quick poll. So question is, have you ever heard of flipping? A is, I know all about it and love it. B is, I am familiar but still have some questions. And C, I have no idea what it is. So let me change that up, and you should be able to vote. Okay, give you a couple more seconds. Okay. So, approximately 35% of you know all about it and love it, which I love hearing, and be familiar with it but still have some questions. Good. It means that did her job. So, moving on, just to give you a quick synopsis, we already know what flipping the classroom is. The biggest takeaway from it is that, like I said, we are able to differentiate instruction for all of our students. So when students go home, they'll watch the video, and then when they come to class, what we can do with them is I typically give them a quick assessment, 3 quick questions to determine whether or not they understood the information that they learned the night before. From that, using that real-time data, I could go ahead and do small group instruction for those that need it. The students that didn't watch it or need a little bit more help can go ahead and watch the videos again. And those students that are ahead, or advanced, so to speak, can work on a classroom project, something that's based on project-based learning. So instead of us just teaching to the middle and trying to get as many people as we can really tailor it for each student. So those kids that are high scorers, or get the concepts fairly well, can work on this project. Those that are a little bit lower need extra help, we can do small group instruction. So we're taking a class of 30 and really breaking it down so we can help each individual student. So the real-time data that I talk about, we use Active Engage to collect that data. We also have Data Director, Edmodo, and Google Forms, or some other options if you choose to go that route. So our second poll question would be, on a 5-point scale, how beneficial do you see flipping the classroom being in the coming years? So A is no benefit, B little benefit, C some, D moderate, and E is significant. So please answer that poll, please. So we have an overwhelming majority saying that there will be moderate to significant benefit, which I wholeheartedly agree with. One thing I neglected to mention on the last slide is that although Fed and I both flip the classroom, we do have some variation in the way we do it, obviously based on the type of students that we have, and obviously if you plan to implement it, that'd be something you'd want to keep in mind. So that last slide was where I am, and now it's where I'm going. So with the flipped model, sort of where I want it to be, and obviously it's still a work in progress, I'd like to go towards the flipped mastery model. And the difference between the two is that in the flipped mastery model, students will be at various different locations throughout the course of the year. So a student who has a lot more holes in their learning might be on, say, Chapter 2 by October, but a student who's fairly advanced in math might be on Chapter 5. So it's something that's going to be a huge work in progress because there's going to be a lot of variables to consider while we do that. But it should theoretically give our kids the best experience and, you know, help all learners using the technology that we have. 100% exploration model, which is instead of me just doing the videos, they're actually going to explore doing activities to learn it on their own. Challenge-based learning, where students have a lot more freedom as opposed to project-based learning. And I left it with Keep Moving Forward by Walt Disney because I thought that was important for us moving forward, you know, the technology.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you and Fed as well for sharing your stories about two of our schools. And I just wanted to close and let you know, as a district, we have been measuring the performance of the I-21 initiative for the last 3 years. And there's a series of indicators of success. But this year, we were the highest performing language arts school of large urbans in California. We actually beat out San Francisco Unified and are very excited about that. We have some of the lowest dropout rates in the state now, and we have seen significant improvements. Our dropout rate is now at 5.87%. Which is, I think, the second lowest dropout rate in the entire state. And we've actually sustained a 1% increase in our average daily attendance. And I think all of these indicators and many more really are showing that the integration of technology into our learning environments, and more importantly, the transformation of our teaching and learning across the district is making significant gains. Thank you so much.
Daryl, Pat, and Michael, thank you so much for that glimpse into your digital transition story in San Diego. We do have a couple of questions that remain unanswered in the chat window. One of them was about how you measured impact. Could you talk a little bit, Daryl, about how you measured the impact of your initiative?
Yeah, sure. I think, you know, of course, everyone starts by measuring it with the state standardized tests that are used, as well as how we rank among comparison schools, not only within our county, but across the state. One of the things that I also wanted to mention is the fact that Innovation Middle School made some of the highest gains in their comparable school ranking. They actually improved 47 points. They made the most improvement in our own school district as well. But we rank ourselves in many other ways. We look at the number of behavior incidents and the decreases in those. Of course, our graduation rates are part of this, grade levels accomplished, and success towards 1 year's growth of achievement in our school district.
Great. Thank you for that answer. We had another question, Daryl, that looked at the impact on tech initiatives and school schedules. In other words, are class periods longer, or how have they changed as a result of your initiative?
I think, you know, with a district of almost 200 schools, clearly there's a lot of different models for schedules across the district. I do believe that they've been able to tap into block schedules more and incorporate different ways in using the results of this technology by grouping kids differently today than they might have in the past. We might see a teacher who is doing exceptionally well down the hall with a group of students, and we might pair them up with a teacher that may be struggling with a similar group in their class. And a lot of times we're starting to see kids move between these classrooms to help accomplish the end goal.
Great, thank you for that. There was another question about internet access at home, and you had responded in the chat that you provide 4G internet access for students at both of the schools. The question was about internet access at home, and if you have a sense of what percentage of your students have internet access at home.
Yeah, it's easiest stated that about 38% of our students don't have internet access or access to a computer that they can use for schoolwork. That's a pretty high number. We're very challenged by it, and as a district, we're trying a variety of programs to help reduce that, such as participating in the FCC's Connect to Compete initiative by providing cable modems to families on free lunch for sub $10 a month service, as well as our LOGO initiative that provides over half of our middle schools with that 3G and 4G service during the pilot LOGO program. Both of these are FCC-sponsored initiatives.
Okay, great. In the interest of time, we're going to have to move on at this point, but I would ask everyone if you'll join me in a virtual round of applause and thank Daryl Lagace, Michael, and Pet for their presentation this afternoon. Thank you so much. We're going to move on now to our second district. We're going to go from the West Coast now here to the East Coast. And I want to introduce you to some folks here in Surry County, North Carolina. I'm going to turn the program over now to Jill Reinhardt, who is Director of Secondary Education and Career and Technical Education for Surry County Schools. Jill?
Thank you, Dr. Hopgood. We welcome everyone to the webinar this afternoon. Around this table with me, I have with me today Dr. Terry Mosley, Assistant Superintendent for Instructional Services. And I also have with me Christy Cox, who is an 8th grade math teacher at one of our middle schools, Central Middle. I have Tena Horton, who is currently an assistant principal at Meadowview Middle School, but throughout our whole one-to-one journey until just recently, she has been on our technology team as an instructional technologist. And Mrs. Kathy White, who is also one of our instructional technologists here in Surry County. You're going to hear a little bit from each one of us this afternoon because we believe that it takes all of us to get this job done, and each one of these folks around the table today have had a significant role in making sure that we're successful. Dr. Mosley?
Good afternoon. We are a small rural school district that is in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina, and we serve around 8,500 students in grades pre-K through 12. We also have an early college program that serves students in grades 13. We are predominantly a white district with a large Hispanic population, about 23%. And overall, across our district, we are 62% free and reduced lunch, with some of our schools greater than 90%. We also cover a large geographical area that presents itself with some challenges.
During our presentation this afternoon, we're also going to focus a little on funding and how a rural school district like Surry County has funded our one-to-one initiative. And we will focus a little bit later through Dr. Moses' presentation on how we have pulled funds from local, state, and grant monies to make sure that we're successful and we're able to fund the laptops that we have deployed in all of our schools. In order to prepare us for some information later and conversation later in our presentation, we ask that you take time to answer our poll questions about funding. How do you currently fund your technology needs? Does each school have just its own funding and is responsible for its own technology purchases? Does the district allocate funding to your schools to purchase technology? or are you seeking funding from other grant sources? We'll give you just a minute to answer that poll. Looks like we have 4 responses there. Anyone else want to chime in? Okay, that's fine. Thank you. It looks like most of you have responded that the district allocates funding to your schools, and that's good news. Later in the presentation, as I said, Dr. Mosley will touch base with and describe exactly how we have reallocated some funds in our district and how we have sought additional grant funding. We're going to talk to you a little bit about our vision this afternoon, however. Our board, a few years back, actually it was 4 years ago, said if children in other countries can have laptops, why can't we do that here in our district in Surry County? So at that time, we developed a 6-year plan, and that 6-year plan was to involve grades 7-12 becoming 1-to-1 in that 6-year span. We are proud today to tell you that we are now 1-to-1 in grades 6-12 in 4 years, and we also are working towards a ratio of 1-to-2 in grades 3-5. So much like the district there in San Diego, we are looking for all students in grades pre-K-12 having access to technology at home and at school. In grades 3-5, of course, in the laptop carts, the laptops do stay in the classroom in the school. However, 6th grade is the same way, with laptops staying at school, but grades 7-12, those laptops go home with the students. We're also piloting this year in grades 11 and 12 a bring your own device environment where we're inviting our students to provide their own. And that is in its infancy stages right now, and we have deployed or actually held a few parent meetings already, and we have parents who are asking questions and becoming very interested in that program. Also, as a part of our vision, we have implemented Haiku, which is a learning management system, so that there would be full content delivery to each student, and we'll touch base a little bit on that later. I want you now to turn your attention to Dr. Mosley. She will talk just a minute to you or with you about us becoming leadership ready.
One of the challenges we had was to develop a vision and then be able to communicate it to all our stakeholders. We started out by determining where did we want our students to be in 5 years and in 10 years, and what was our goal and our plan for them. And for us, that meant that we had to chunk it into pieces, as we do not have the financial resources or the human resource development to be able to accomplish all of it at one time. We started with developing presentations that communicated that plan to the board. We took that plan then to our leadership team, which includes our central office administrators and our principals, then communicated it to our teachers, and then to our community at large, including our county commissioners and our parents. We did some extensive research one summer on where to begin, and we chose 7th grade because we felt like student engagement was a key issue in addressing some of our dropout problems. Then we also loaded a large number of constituents on the bus to take a tour of a school system that had already started with one-to-one implementation to allow those folks to see what it looked like in the classroom. I think that was a big selling point, especially to our county commissioners. In order to determine what we wanted, we had to break it up into pieces. So we had to look at what did we already have, In terms of what technology that we currently have in place, we had a large number of classrooms already equipped with smart boards and smart technology. Most of our teachers already had at least a computer in the classroom, and some had some additional. We had stationary labs in many of our schools, and we looked at how can we over time convert those into mobile devices, and could we do away with the upgrades that are necessary to keep those labs in place. We looked at the resources that we had available, including our personnel and our monetary resources. Did we have individuals staffing those labs that could be transformed part of the time either into tech facilitation or into tech support, which is a big piece of going to a one-to-one plan. We looked at our instructional and administrative positions to see if they could be redesigned, and actually did that for specialist positions. We took our assistant principals and turned them into, they have currently been instructional specialists. We turned them into instructional and technology specialists, because for us, our vision included technology and instruction being one of the same and hand in hand. And we looked at clerical positions that we possibly could convert to tech support positions. We also looked at other resources that could be reallocated. Our commissioners had previously been giving us money designed for athletic purposes. We talked with them, and some of that money was converted into technology resources for the district. We looked at alternative programs, credit recovery, paper and supplies, and any of those funds that could be reallocated, we moved. The other question is, what can your budget support? Can you support purchasing, leasing, or do you need to do a combination of both? And for us, that's the way our plan began. We did do some leasing, and then looked at what could we convert to permanent purchasing. And as those have multiplied over the years, we have been able to achieve more quickly. And the other thing that helped us in the funding process were grants. You certainly have in your areas grants and foundations that are available to you. We were fortunate to receive Golden Lynch Foundation funding, Appalachian Regional Commission funding, and we don't want you to overlook the connections that technology has to other discipline areas such as science and math, and there are foundations and support for those types of programs in your areas that can also help to support your technology initiatives.
Also at the table with us this afternoon, as I introduced earlier, we have two of our technology instructional specialists and a classroom teacher. And I want you to hear from them of how we have prepared our teachers to be teacher ready for this initiative. Kathy?
We started our implementation with 7th grade students and began preparing and training teachers the year before students would receive their laptops. We initially started out with sending a group of teachers to the Friday Institute for some training, and our instructional technology specialists provided training on Active Directory, file management, and basic troubleshooting. We realized that teachers needed more preparation in order to be successful in a one-to-one classroom environment. After participating in an online course entitled Getting Started in the One-to-One Classroom, which was provided by the Friday Institute, we decided to provide that professional development course in a hybrid environment for our teachers who were preparing for one-to-one. The Friday Institute shared that course with us. We modified the course to meet our needs in Surry County, and our instructional technology specialists led monthly professional development sessions for all middle and high school teachers. We did not stop the professional development once the students received laptops. We continued to provide monthly technology sessions to support our teachers. In addition, we also host summer teaching and learning conferences for all teachers in all grade spans. It initially started out as a technology conference with concurrent technology sessions provided that focused on tools and resources. Teachers would select sessions that they were interested in attending. We have transitioned from a technology conference to a teaching and learning conference with a focus on utilizing technology to support good classroom instruction. Another important resource we used in Surry County to get teachers ready was professional learning communities. Teachers meet at least weekly within their professional learning communities at their schools. They create and share lessons, develop common assessments, and work together to help ensure success for all students. PLCs have been very beneficial in our implementation of a one-to-one environment. Ms. Horton's going to talk to you about some challenges that we face with getting teachers ready.
A few of the challenges we encountered: first, getting our teachers ready, and this was really a twofold process. We wanted to get them ready with the vision and also with their skills. So we worked hard to get our teachers to understand the big picture and why this initiative is so vital for our students and their future. And then our teachers came to us with a wide range of technology skills, so we developed our professional development so that it was differentiated for different skill levels. As Kathy mentioned earlier, technology issues, basic hardware and software troubleshooting became an issue for us. And we started with training our faculty on addressing those issues, but quickly discovered that it was even more beneficial to train our students as tech helpers in the classroom to help with troubleshooting. Engaging lessons, we worked hard to move our teachers from electronic worksheets to transformative lessons that actually enhance their content. And our goal was for teachers to develop lessons that could not have been delivered to the same level without the use of that technology. And along with that, we strongly believe that the best classroom management tool is an engaging lesson. But teachers also had to think about the layout, their room arrangement. We tried to move from rows to pods so that teachers could move around the room, encourage collaboration between students, and again, the use of those tech helpers as students for support with other students and the teacher in the classroom.
I would like for you to hear now from our classroom teacher who has been with us since the beginning of this process about some positive results in the classroom.
My name is Christy Cox, and I'm an 8th grade math teacher at Central Middle School. At Central Middle, we have about 700 students, a wide variety of diverse population. Positive results have come from every aspect of our school, coming from career exploration all the way to our math and science and language arts classes. We experience a lot of immediate feedback, which is obviously a positive result. Students are able to stay in contact with the teacher and with what's going on in the classroom if they're absent or for some reason homebound to their homes, where they can use that laptop to stay in touch with what's going on in the classrooms. We also stay in touch with our community, and our school community expands and involves more parent involvement with what's going on in our school. We're able to conserve a lot of materials using such technology as downloading handbooks and policies onto the kids' laptops, and using Google Docs for different types of polling and surveying the students and the community and things going on. Obviously, we have a diverse population, students with language barriers, learning disabilities, and our advanced learners. So the ability to differentiate for all of those students is definitely a positive result. The learning is coming to life for the students, and especially for those who are in our low socioeconomic population, the ability to have a laptop that they can take home every night would obviously not be an option if this initiative wasn't in place. Changing definitely had to take place when you change from having binders and notebooks to everything in one machine. One definite change for us has been the haiku learning management system, as mentioned earlier. Everything is in one specific place. All of our notes for our students, their assignments, even going as far as their tests, assessments, and their grades. Parents can go online, check their students' grades, and stay up to par with the progress that the students are making on a daily basis and see what kind of grades they're making, what the assessments look like. As well, we can offer online discussions either among groups within the classroom or as far down as individual one-to-one with the student and the teacher to comprehend and see how the students are understanding the lessons that we're teaching. It really just opens up all types of resources when it comes to the haiku learning management system. With that, and with the assistance of having the laptops, we're able to offer a more challenging curriculum as well. Looking at our academically gifted students, they have more ownership of what they're learning. It's not just pencil paper anymore, and they're accustomed to that a lot more than us sometimes. So there's a lot more self-discovery going on, a lot more of their ownership, and their understanding the concept at a deeper level. We're able to also offer technology integration even further using interactive educational games. It keeps the students focused, it keeps them engaged, and it brings to life what they're learning. It's not just formulas anymore and reading stories, it's making things come to life. And it is definitely going deeper into the curriculum and offering a lot more extensions than ever before. So advice for teachers, I would definitely have to say in the beginning, be patient. You have to be flexible and open-minded. I've said that goes for everything along with teaching, but definitely for these initiatives. Don't be afraid to take it slow. Collaborate with your other teachers. There might be one down the hall or down the road that can help you collaborate and come up with a plan that you can use your technology the best of your ability. And definitely be willing to share. We've learned in our county that once something, for instance, is posted on Haiku, every other math teacher in the county has access to that specific lesson. So imagine the possibilities that not just one mind is teaching this group of students, but you've got lots of minds going together and sharing and working together for a common goal.
Thank you, team, for sharing this afternoon. We also want to leave you with some advice for administrators and CTOs. I think you've heard from both districts that you have to begin with the end in mind. We began with a 6-year plan, and I believe I heard San Diego Unified talk about their Vision 2020. But you have to decide what it is that you want for your students and where you want to end up so that you can work that plan. We also advise you to involve finance, curriculum instruction. I believe Dr. Mosley explained both of those very well earlier, that our finance folks have to be on board and understand when we talk about reallocating funds to be able to afford this. And we do not separate our technology department from our curriculum and instruction department because they go hand in hand. Our technology staff has weekly meetings with curriculum folks to understand what's going on behind the scenes that might be technology or technical challenges that would hinder the process and the progression of technology integration in the classroom. But you also have to involve principals and teachers in the planning all along. Last but not least, don't be afraid to revision along the way. We've made some changes to our original plan. We have decided to accelerate that plan, but we've also changed some things around with grade levels and with funding and reallocation of funds, and that's taken some patience on a lot of folks' part to be able to do that along the way. We also ask you if you would like to join the journey with Surry County Schools. We have a one-to-one website that we have tried to keep up with over the last few years that provides a lot of information from our school district and how we have implemented this journey from being vision ready and all the way to being student and teacher ready. Are there questions for Surry County?
Yes, Jill. First of all, I want to thank you, Dr. Mosley and staff for presenting your story this afternoon. Glenn Kleiman asked, what do you most wish you had known at the start of your initiative that you learned along the way? So if you could talk about something you learned along the way that you wish you'd known when you first started.
I think we knew in the beginning that we needed a learning management system, some way for teachers to deliver digital content, but we were trying in the beginning to piece that together in ways with free software and some open source software that's out there. And it took us a little while before my friend Kathy White, you heard from her, found Haiku for our district. For us to settle down into one learning management system, I believe our teachers would testify that the first couple of years were more difficult without it, and it was truly a godsend when we came across it and have implemented it in our district. Again, we knew from the beginning we needed something, we just didn't know what, and we began our journey without it. I believe, though, one of the positives about that is our teachers recognized a couple of years into our journey that that is what they needed, and they needed something to pull it all together that was standardized across our district. So if I had to pick one thing, it would be the learning management system.
Great, Joe. Thank you for that answer. Any other questions or comments for Surry County this afternoon? If not, I'll ask everyone in the room to join me in a virtual round of applause and appreciation to Surry County Schools for sharing their digital transition story with us this afternoon. We are almost at the end of our time today, and I want to turn the mic over to Keith Kruger from the Consortium for School Networking for some final thoughts. Keith?
Thanks, Bobby, and congratulations to both school districts. I think they're great examples of how school systems are starting to move beyond kind of a hero mentality of depending upon simply individual innovative teachers or innovative principals to how do we get an ecosystem? How do we build systems that really are going through a digital transition? And this is one of the first events that we're doing on a new community that's just launching officially next week, although you've already got a sneak preview, called Epic Ed, and COSIN is really pleased to be part of it with the Friday Institute and made possible by the U.S. Department of Ed contract. I just want to conclude by, we titled this particular webinar, One Size Doesn't Fit All, and it's certainly true that what works in San Diego, a very large urban school district, might not work in a rural community like Surry. But I think we could also add a second title, and that is, yet there are some things that every school system needs to do regardless of size. And I think that both, there was actually a lot of commonality between the two examples, despite the fact that they're on opposite coasts with different environments and different funding streams. First of all, it really does take bold leadership. It takes a compelling vision. Things don't happen unless your superintendent, your head of curriculum, your school boards really know where they want to go. I think it also means that it's going to take time, and we heard that from both places. I remember in San Diego mentioning it takes up to 18 months to get a teacher up to being comfortable within it. We have to focus on human capacity, and I think that that's the biggest challenge that we face. It isn't coming up with the vision, but rather how do we really prepare people. And I heard a lot from Surry about how we need to rethink about how to reallocate resources, looking at what that value of investment is, and then finding things that you're spending on right now that you could spend in a different and better way to make that digital transition. So this is the start of a big important conversation. These are two great examples, and we hope that you'll all join in Epic Ed and continue in this dialogue as we go on. And I'll turn it back to Bobby.
Great. Thanks, Keith, for those final thoughts. Before we conclude, I noticed that we have a couple of hands raised here. S. Snyder, if you have a question, please go ahead and click on the talk button and pose your question. A hand for applause. Likewise, LTELLERB, do you have a question? Okay then, if not, we invite you to follow our discussion by joining us and following the Epic Ed community on Twitter. You see there, you can do a search for us, Epic Ed Community on Twitter. Want to give you insight into our next installment of this series, One Size Does Not Fit All, will take place on September the 11th, this one at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, featuring Sunnyside School District in Tucson, Arizona, and Asheboro City Schools in Asheboro, North Carolina. So mark your calendars for that event. You can learn more about that as well as the remaining upcoming events for this month, a very special month known as Connected Educator Month. The calendar and details for all of the events you see here you can access from the connectededucators.org website. That's connectededucators.org/CEM. And we invite you to join with us, the Epic Ed community, as we launch this new community devoted to digital transition next Wednesday, the 22nd, with a guided tour, one at 2 o'clock and the other at 4 o'clock. And then on Friday of next week and the following Monday, an open house during which time you can explore the community and ask questions and get responses in real time from one of our staff. We're also excited to note that in addition to the web conferences and live chat events you see pictured here, we have confirmed a forthcoming web conference in September with Karen Cater and Mark Edwards from Mooresville, North Carolina, a conversation about the EdTech plan, and that will be moderated by the Executive Director from the Friday Institute, Dr. Glenn Kleiman. So we thank everyone for participating today in this first in the series, One Size Does Not Fit All. We hope to see you all in the Epic Ed community. We invite you to be with us as we launch this community next week. And when you leave the interface today, I want to remind you that you will see launched in a browser window an online evaluation for this particular session. We ask that you complete this evaluation so that we can improve forthcoming web conferences. Again, this is Bobby Hobgood, and on behalf of the Friday Institute for Educational Innovation here at North Carolina State University and our partner COSIN, Keith Kruger, from whom you heard this afternoon, we thank you for being a part of this event, and we wish you all epic success in your digital transitions. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.